Hey guys, Arts and Crafts here, coming at you again with another high-rated GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling Book Ladder replay. Today we've got Chaos Dragon 87 versus Freaking Beast. Like I just mentioned, these players were both, at the time this match was played, in the top 200 on the Dueling Book ranked ladder. Um, and as always, I have not watched this replay ahead of time, so excited to see what these two were cooking in real time with you all. I'm gonna make sure we hide the hands, and we'll jump right into it. Some riveting RPS action. Freaking Beast is gonna win. Just go first as always. Gonna lead out with a Thunder Dragon, great card in the format. Go up, about half a card. Yep, did not open two, so gets the plus there. And has the duo to follow it up. Generally, you want to duo before the Thunder Dragon, right? There's no reason to give your opponent the extra info about the TD that you're playing like a Thunder Dragon deck before you duo them. So minor inaccuracy there, but probably not too big a deal. The duo is going to hit the Torrential Tribute, good card to not have to play around if you're Freaking Beast. And they discard Sinister Serpent, so not getting full value out of the duo, but they are able to at least rip out the Torrential. Freaking Beast is going to go Upstart into set a monster, set a couple back row, pass. So decent opening turn. They have the Thunder Dragons in hand, unable to cash them in with like a Graceful or anything just yet. But they do have kind of, I like to call it like pseudo inevitability from these Thunder Dragons, because at some point they will be able to use them for something real and get value from them. So if you're Chaos Dragon, you want to be play a little bit more aggressively than you normally would because you want to punish them while they have two fake Thunder Dragons in their hand, basically. So Chaos Dragon here, gonna grab that Serpent, and then they have a Thunder Dragon of their own. So both players sitting on two Thunder Dragons in hand. Gonna normal summon Sangan. Okay, so getting a little bit aggressive. And we're just gonna attack right into the set. It's a Dekoichi, so they will just wall each other out, and Dekoichi will allow Freaking Beast to draw a card. And just pass there, no back row or anything. So Freaking Beast, you're pretty happy having resolved a Dekoichi, and it's even still on the field. So a little like half card worth of advantage there. But we're just gonna get a draw pass from Freaking Beast, not wanting to go on the offensive, run over the Sangan, let them get a search or anything. Just kind of waiting to cash in those Thunder Dragons probably, and see if they have a better play. Chaos Dragon's gonna go Heavy Storm, two back row here. You got to think that there was no Dust Shoot used, no Jar of Greed used last turn, right? If one of these was like a chainable like Jar, they probably would have used it because otherwise, why would you just pass with no play? So good chance that you get full value here. We're gonna chain Scapegoat and Book of Moon. So they were both chainables. Scapegoat's gonna load up their field though, and they are. Freaking Beast will not have any sort of monster spaces available to them after the Scapegoat resolves, but we'll see if that ends up being an issue. And Book of Moon gets to reset the Dekoichi so they can draw a card with that, again, if that's allowed to resolve. So, not the most valuable Heavy Storm, but if you have some place to follow it up, it could just be nice to know that the back row is cleared out. Built the board with the goat tokens. Tribe Infecting Virus is a good way to punish Scapegoat. And we've got the Sinister in hand that we knew about, so this is basically just a free answer to the Scapegoat. So really nice here if you're Chaos Dragon. And then gonna attack into the known Dekoichi. It'll cycle on the card, but Sangan is allowed to hit in for 1,000 here. So starting to apply some pressure here. Decently sized board, 2,600 a turn. So 3-turn clock here, if there's nothing in the way. Still no back row though, so pretty exposed, and Freaking Beast does have a nice full grip of cards. Two of them are Thunder Dragons, but definitely a lot of other stuff to work with here. Pot of Greed is definitely great. And Chaos Dragon just going to concede. Fair enough. Must have just been... Yeah, we knew they had two Thunder Dragons in hand. Trying to get aggressive here with the Tribe and Sangan, but not wanting to just deal with all the advantage that Freaking Beast had. So far it looks like we've got Chaos Turbo versus Chaos Control, pretty standard matchup in the format. We'll see if anyone does anything interesting with their side deck strategy. We'll go to game 2. Chaos Dragon will get to go first here. Gonna lead out with another Thunder Dragon. Getting that free +1 into upstart. Always Thunder Dragon before your upstarts, so you don't accidentally draw into another Thunder Dragon, of course. We're going to set one, normal summon Kaiku. Interesting, okay. So obviously you know you're against some sort of Chaos deck when you saw the Thunder Dragon's first game, so Kaiku's, if you got them in the side, are generally brought in now. And hopefully you got a back row to protect it, otherwise he could just kind of get dealt with pretty easily normally. Freaking Beast opens duo for the second game in a row. Didn't get full value off of it the first game though, hitting us. This Chaos Dragon had a Sinister in hand. We'll see if he does get the full value this time. Hits one of the Thunder Dragons, right? It's always, you always take this risk when you're duoing into an opponent that has launched Thunder Dragon. Sometimes you just like clear them out. I mean, it's a good 1-card answer to Thunder Dragon, but you're generally hoping you hit a real card and then they are stuck with one Thunder Dragon in hand after discarding the other one. So 2 games in a row, not getting huge value out of duo. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why these Chaos Turbo strategies, assuming, or even Chaos Control, right? Thunder Dragon, Delinquent Duo, or Thunder Dragon, Night Assailant, Sinister Serpent decks, right? One of the reasons why they're so good in the format is because oftentimes people will not be getting full value from their Delinquent Duos, right? You just really have to have any one of those cards in your hand. Night Assailant, you need, obviously, Night Assailant plus a Flip Engrave or another Flip in hand to discard. But the deck is kind of built to minimize the effectiveness of Duo, which is a ubiquitous card in the format, of course. Yeah, the Duo cleared out the Thunder Dragons. Gonna set 2 pass. Nothing to do with the Kaiku just yet, but obviously a lot of back row here. We got Standby Face, Trap, Dust Shoot. Not holding Prio or anything. We know it looks like they picked something. Let's show that hand there. Okay, so pretty good hand. Heavy, BLS, Magician of Faith, with only an upstart Engrave right now, and a Zombira. So interesting. Sided in the Zombira against Chaos Control. Not something you see every day, but I guess you can see it if you expect them to be running Kaikus and stuff like that. Freaking Beast is going to go ahead and snag the BLS, which I think makes sense, right? Zombira is not really doing anything against an open board, and they don't really have any good targets for Faith. They've already got plenty of lights in gray for BLS. No dark yet, but a couple options to get in there. So I think grabbing the BLS makes total sense here. Go ahead and hide those. But do you have an answer for the Kaiku? Let's see. We're just going to go ahead and normal summon Zombira, which is interesting. We're just going to play into Torrential for no reason. And Mirror Force for no reason. Oh, I guess this plays around set Scapegoat exactly, right? Because then you can attack both of them, and you haven't seen any Scapegoats yet, so it's probably more likely than a Torrential or a Mirror Force. But it does seem a little bit risky, though, to me. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Kaiku is going to hit, though. Not going to get to banish anything, but putting a clock on a controlled player is always good. Freaking Beast is going to go main phase Jar of Greed. Thin the deck a little bit. Then we got Tsukiyomi, very good card to deal with Kaikus, of course. But we have Ring of Destruction to protect it. Yeah, so turn 1 normal Kaiku, set Ring behind it to protect it. It's pretty good. And the Suk is going to hit the grave. Both players will take 11. Ring's a pretty good card. Now with no normal summon here, Freaking Beast going to main phase 2 Thunder Dragon. Okay. Must have drawn that for turn, or off of the jar. And then we're just going to set a back row pass. And this Kaiku might be able to just get in for some more damage again. Now flipping the Kaiku, you still could get some value for this Suk here. Obviously you traded with the ring, which is some value. But you could get a little bit more here if you have Torrential follow-up, because you'll force the Kaiku to flip summon if Chaos Dragon wants to get any damage in. So let's see if that punish is available. Doesn't look like it. Kaiku's going to get in for 18. You can take him off Chaos pretty immediately. Obviously, 2 Thunder Dragons in hand, so you won't be able to keep him off of Light forever. But getting rid of the Dark Engrave is obviously really nice. He's going to set a back row pass. Freaking Beast goes draw, set a monster, pass. So not too much to deal with. This does turn Zambaira on as well, which is something interesting to think about. But if it's like a spy or something, that's totally fine, because Zambaira will kill the first spy, but then it'll be too weak to kill the second one, and Kaiku obviously can't beat over spy either. Chaos Dragon draws for turn. Zambaira's going to attack in. He's just Magician of Faith, grabbing Duo. Okay. So Chaos Dragon, you know about the Duo. Are you able to play around it is a question. But Kaiku is going to not get in for 18 because we have Scapegoat. All right. So keeping the Faith in Grave, preventing 1800 damage, which is probably the more relevant thing there. Kaiku is going to kill a token, set a monster, set a back row pass. So we knew about the Faith in hand, right, from Chaos Dragon, so good chance that that set is the Faith. Are you pro-setting heavy? Probably not here. So yeah, my guess is that this is probably a set Faith, real back row that they drew. But we'll see. Freaking Beast, you've got a lot of stuff to deal with here. Heavy Storm here. Do we have any chainables? Oh, so we did just pro-set heavy. I might have just missed that before. I guess if they set that last turn, then it would have had to have been the Heavy Storm, because that was the only spell they had in hand. Yeah. And then you also bluff set Snatch Steal, which seems like a bit of an overextension. Because, like, oh, I guess you knew about Duo, so you needed to set stuff. Okay, so this makes sense from that perspective. You knew about Duo in hand, so you had to set things to protect him from Duo. These are obviously both cards, pretty strong cards. Limited spells are very good at Go format. So setting both of these to protect from Duo makes sense. It's just unfortunate that you ended up playing into Heavy Storm as well. They had, in GOAT format, you can generally play around heavy or play, unless you have Solemn Judgment, right? You can either play around heavy or play around Duo, but it's really hard to do both. Freaking Beasts happen to have both, so a little bit unfortunate here for Chaos Dragon. But they do at least still have a lot of monsters on board. We got the knock for the Faith. So it's Faith in hand. So that was, they had drawn the Dekoichi. Cool. Both players will no longer have access to Dekoichi for the rest of this game. The Duo is going to come through, hit the Faith. Doesn't really matter because you already got plenty of lights in Grave. And now there's actually, Faith on Upstart is like fine, whatever. But Faith grabbing a couple power spells. Now you really don't want your opponent to resolve it. And presumably you don't have another knock or something in hand. That's why you'd be making that play with the Duo. But do you have an answer for the Kaiku and the Zambaira? Is the question. No, I'm just going to pass. We've got Breaker as well, so we can clear out all the goats here. Top deck Metamorphosis isn't going to do anything here for Freaking Beast. So we're just going to clear out all the tokens. Zambaira does drop to 1700. Which it honestly isn't too big a deal in these matchups. Like, the difference between 19 and 17 means that really against like standard monsters you see in Chaos Control, it'll die to like Kaiku if they sided it in. It'll die without crashing against a token breaker, but for the most part, going down to 17 with Zambaira not going to do too much in this matchup, I don't think. Freaking Beast gonna draw concede. There you go. Too much pressure. He had a lot of good cards that he played so far that game, but Turbo is generally just the way the metagame shakes out. It's generally kind of plays the control role against a lot of decks. but it is a mid-range deck, right? And this is, against Chaos Control and Go Control and other Scapegoat decks, it is the beatdown deck. So sometimes you just want to summon stuff and get in. So I think from that perspective, obviously citing Kaikuin makes sense because it's another aggro card. Zambaira obviously can't pressure the life points, but he used it to good effect this round to just deal with the Go tokens and set monsters and stuff. So ended up being a pretty big boon from an aggro perspective. Not sure if that'll be repeated every single game you're siding in Zambaira against a control deck, but you did get good value for it this round. We'll go to game 3 here. Freaking Beast. Gonna opt to go first, of course. What do they have? Duo for the third match. For the third game in a row. Gonna lead out with an upstart. And to set a monster, set a couple pass. So no Trinity for them this time. See if Chaos Dragon can take advantage. Gonna get draw phase, Dust Shoot. Pretty good hand here. Or interesting hand, I would say. So you're on Premature Burial, which I guess makes sense if you're kind of a Kaiku list, right? Especially if you're like maybe maining the Kaiku, but not a super common card you'll see in turbo lists. Upstart's obviously nice when you're getting Dust Shot because it's an unknown card essentially to your opponent. And obviously there's only 2 options here between Suk and BLS. Freaking Beast. We'll see what they pick. Gonna grab the Tsukuyomi. Makes you think, well, it is technically a live card, but maybe they're worried about if you have like something like a Kaiku in hand that'll die to Tsukuyomi, then getting rid of it is good here. Either way, there goes the Suk. Upstart draws into an unknown. Upstart into pot is pretty good, so you've now got 2 unknowns in hand and you've plussed. Pretty good play into Dust Shoot. We're going to go set a monster, set a couple pass, so they drew a monster off of this pot. And in the back row, probably Mirror Force and Dust Tornado. You'd have to guess. Could be some unknowns, though. Freaking Beast, though, does make it a main phase 1 and is going to flip up a Magician of Faith. Just grabbing the upstart, though, so not a super impactful play. But is going to get to dig into their deck a little bit more. And they also have Heavy Storm to clear the back row. You know that these 2 are probably not chainable. Yeah, you see it as the Dust Tornado and the Mirror Force. You just chain it to pop the other one for funsies. And it's Book of Moon on Magician of Faith. Nice. So he's doing the Book of Moon plus Magician of Faith thing. Yeah, you're fine just flipping Faith to grab upstart if you can just reset it with Book later. So pretty nice play here for Freaking Beast, getting a lot of value out of this Heavy Storm. Resetting their Faith and clearing out 2 of the known back row. And now with the clear back row, what's the plan? We're going to normal summon Kaiku. So, like I said, good reason to get rid of that Tsukuyomi from before. Now we can start getting in for some damage. Set was a Dekochi. We'll not get in for some damage, but start pressuring the opponent at least. Dekochi is going to be able to cycle. No back row here to protect this stuff, but you do have to worry about the face down Faith and an aggressive monster, so not an enviable position here for Chaos Dragon, especially if you have a dead BLS in hand. Thunder Dragon would be pretty nice. Well, Thunder Dragon plus an answer to Kaiku would be nice. Let's see, what's the play? Gonna go set a monster pass. Okay. Just getting something in the way. This Faith is gonna get to resolve again. Gonna grab the upstart, just continue to dig into the deck. I think that makes sense. Nothing too heavy, obviously, and Book doesn't really do anything for you right now. Just going to choose to see another card. Kaiku will attack the set monster. It's Night Assailant. Pretty good here. That'll be able to pop, presumably, the Kaiku. Yeah. So Chaos, not set up yet, but you're a Thunder Dragon away from being able to play BLS, which is nice. And the Kaiku's dealt with. Faith will get in for 300. One downside of playing Upstart Goblin 3 times in a game is your opponent starts the game at 11,000 life points. So that's a lot to chew through. We'll see if that ends up being an issue here for Freaking Beast. Set a couple pass. Especially as a control deck, right? You generally don't have as much damage capability. Although if you're on Kaikus, that helps deal with that issue pretty solidly. We're going to get another Trap Dust Shoot here. So what have they added? Still have the Premature with no real targets. We've got Snatch Steal, which is good. Still that dead BLS. We do have a Light in hand, though, in terms of DD Warrior Lady. So this is an interesting deck in that it's playing some cards you don't generally see in Turbo. Like Premature, DD Warrior Lady. Kaiku is kind of a toss-up if you see it a lot. So got some interesting stuff in here. If you are Freaking Beast, though, you probably want to take away the Light, if I had to guess. DD Warrior Lady could definitely be annoying here. Just going to pick the BLS, though. I guess saying, okay, if I'm a Thunder Dragon away from BLS with no Kaiku with my Kaiku gone, I'd rather just not have to deal with it in the near future. So totally fine. And then what is the play? Just normal summon DD Warrior Lady attack, probably. What we're going to see. Gets in for 12. Got a threat on board. Just going to pass. Obviously no back row in hand, and your opponent knows it, so no point in setting anything. Freaking Beast here with full information of what their opponent's running with here. See what we can do. We got Jar of Greed. Seen so many cards in their deck so far. It's pretty nice. We're going to go set Sinister Serpent, Metamorphosis into Thousand Eyes Restrict, steal the DD Warrior Lady, start beating down. You do know you have to deal with Snatch Steal in hand, which can answer this. So do you have an answer? Any sort of like MST, Book of Moon, anything like that? Just going to pass, though. Setting a back row. Chaos Dragon. Going to play the Snatch Steal as expected. Do you have an answer, Freaking Beast? No, you're just going to let it go. Okay. It's kind of an interesting play if you knew you didn't have anything to deal with Snatch, but it's not like they're pressuring your life points too crazily. You can go set a monster, set one pass. Pretty good odds that's the Night Assailant, one would think. And then you got to think, okay, is that bluff set Premature Burial or a real back row? Freaking Beast, though, gets to gain the 1,000 off of the Snatch Steal. Recur the Serpent, which does put them in Dust Shoot range. Just something to think about. Doesn't get punished for it, though. Got the Thunder Dragon. So a full hand of not very exciting cards. Obviously, we know about double TD plus Serpent. Breaker is quite a good card, though, and obviously an answer to Snatch Steal. So we're going to get to steal that 1,000 Eyes right back. And just pass, not interested in attacking what's probably a set Night Assailant. Makes sense to me. We'll see, though, if they just end up kind of stalling the game out here. Chaos Dragon draws for turn. It is Thunder Dragon, so both players got 2 TDs in hand. See who gets to cash them in first. We haven't seen a single Graceful Charity this whole match, so now would be a good time for either player to resolve the first one. And it looks like they had drawn an MST last turn, and that's going to pop the unknown back row, which was Solemn Judgment. Okay, good value for the MST. Clear back row here. Just going to pass, though. Not really much you can do. I mean, we know most of the hand. Premature is not getting anything super valuable right now, of course. Freaking Beast's going to draw. We're going to Tribute for Thunder Dragon. That's one way to clear out your own Floodgate. And now, Night Assailant, which vanilla are you gonna pop? Or we're just gonna metamorph. Okay, so interesting. We're gonna go Metamorphosis, the Thunder Dragon, into Dark Balter, which is a way to deal with Night Assailant. The effective effect monsters that this monster destroys as the result of battle is negated. Pretty good way to deal with flips. You can start pressuring in with a lot of damage here. Yeah, Balter kills the Night Assailant. Breaker gets in for 16, and suddenly you've got a pretty formidable board here. If you're Freaking Beast. Back row to protect, potentially. Chaos Dragon, what's your response? We know you got double TD in hand. Your opponent found a pretty good use, right? Tributing over the Thousand Eyes and then metamorphosing it. So able to get some value from their Thunder Dragons. Chaos Dragon, do you have a way? And no, we're just going to concede. Let's see what they were rocking with. Just drew Sangan for a turn. Obviously, not a very good card into Dark Vaulter. And yeah, so this Dark Vaulter just kind of being a house and doing good stuff. And there you have it. 2-1. Freaking Beast on Chaos Control is going to take down Chaos Dragon on an interesting Chaos Turbo list. Really good match from both players. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next time.